What is up, YouTube? It is me, Topher Crost, and it has been a while since I've done a deck profile. I know what you're thinking, and this one isn't even my deck profile. Actually, so before I get into this, I just want to say that this, again, deck profile is not by me. It's by one of my first subscribers and super awesome wrestler, Leo London. So he takes credit for this profile. We were talking, and he sent me a profile. To be honest, I haven't really felt like editing my Dark Magician deck. I think it's pretty good how it is for now. So if you want to go see that more competitive deck profile, I will link it in the description down below. But besides that, I think it's time to go into something that, yes, is a little bit less competitive, but a hell of a lot more fun. So Leo took this into a tournament. He said that he won 2, lost 2, which is about the success I've had with this deck. Now, that being said, there is something important that you should know, and that's that this deck is so much more fun to play than a competitive Dark Magician deck. It's something that, to be completely honest, I've gotten really burnt out on Yu-Gi-Oh! As of late, and truth be told, this deck kind of kept me going. I've really enjoyed testing it over the last few months, just kind of getting a feel for it. It's obviously not the way I play Dark Magicians, but it really doesn't matter because I had a lot of fun. And before I really get into this deck profile, Leo, if you are watching this, I just want to say thank you so much. I had a lot of fun playing this, and I am sorry I'm getting this out so late. Personal stuff, But without further ado, let us begin. Okay, so first up in the deck, we have 3. Okay, wow, really? Whew, it's gonna be one of those days. First up, we have 3 Dark Magician. Obviously, he's gonna be the resource of your deck. You're gonna want to play 3. Next up, we have 2 Magician of Dark Illusion. Basically, Dark Magicians that can reborn a Dark Magician and can be played out of your hand by spinning any of these trap cards. Wow, I just kind of threw that up the top before I started this video. Sorry, I was playing just a little bit before I started this video, and I did a little last-minute edit. I tried to play around a lot with this deck, and the truth is, I think he's got it at the best synergy for the level of deck it is. It's a lot of fun. Coming in next is Dark Magician Girl. We have not had Dark Magician Girl in a good deck profile in forever. He runs 2, and it works very well for this deck. She, more often than not, when I use her, it's with Dark Burning Magic using Dark Magician Navigation and Allure of Darkness. She also has Allure Target, and I've actually used Sage of Stone a few times, so that's really good. Next up, we have Apprentice Illusion Magician, the, in everyone's opinion, better version of the Dark Magician Girl, except that she isn't a Dark Magician Girl. But you can use her to get Dark Magician in your hand and to power up your Dark Spellcasters, which, if you can't tell, most of this deck is Dark Spellcasters. Next up, we have Summoner Monk, basically to set up those level 4 XYZ plays. And something I've noticed about this deck is it is very, very heavy into pulling out the XYZs. I do use the links occasionally, and the fusions more often than that, but the way, at least I've played the deck, XYZs are pretty much the focus of any extra deck use in this deck. Next up is Chocolate Magician Girl, a Summoner Monk target, not to mention a bit of draw power and a little bit of a Monster Reborn effect. Pretty much the only Magician Girl, except maybe Berry Magician Girl, that's really, really worth playing when it comes to the Fruit Magician Girls. But she's very, very good and has helped me out in a lot of binds in this deck. Speaking of which, another thing that I gotta say about this deck is the variety of situations that this deck can handle actually surpasses a lot of competitive Dark Magician decks. Now, the problem is it slows the deck down quite a bit, and the deck can brick, and it has its moments, but besides that, it can cover a good bit of situations. You'll start really seeing that when we get into the extra deck. Gagaga Magician. So he's really helpful in getting out XYZ plays. Like if you have Dark Magician Girl on the field, you play Gaga Magician, make him a 6-star, and then go ahead into Naruto the Moral Leader and stuff like that. So that's basically why you're going to use him. He fills up the space quite nicely. Next up, we have Elemental Hero Prisma. Basically can be one of your fusion monsters once per turn if you discard. Most of the time, I have used him to protect Eternal Soul in my back row by discarding Dark Magician Dragonite. And next we have Magician's Rod at 3. Of course, you want to run this is the 3. This is the best search card in the deck. So you're going to want to run 3 of those, not to mention it's recyclable. You have Dark Magical Circle, which lets you search and works really well with Dark Magician. Dark Magical Circle you'll be using a lot in this deck. The way that the deck plays, as far as I understand it, is you do recycle your big Dark Magicians a lot, and occasionally you will get out Dark Magician the Dragonite, and you will be recycling them a lot. You'll be doing a lot of banishing with Dark Magical Circle. 2 Eye of Timaeus to get out all of these wonderful fusions down here. I've actually used pretty much all of them except Amulet Dragon, which I've maybe used once, but Dark Magician the Dark Magician Girl the Dragonite, I have definitely used a ton. Dark Magic Attack at 2. This is where this is actually, believe it or not, the biggest contingency I have with this deck, or the biggest flaw I think in the entire deck, is that it runs 2 Dark Magic Attack. That being said, I always have one when I need it. I always keep it in the hand. It's just a little bricky. I always run 1 in pretty much any Dark Magician deck I play. But I'm not even saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's pretty much the biggest part where we disagree with this deck. Because besides this, the deck synergy is actually pretty good. Dark Magic Expanded has one of 3 effects. You can get your Dark type spellcasters 1,000 plus attack. You can protect your spellcaster monsters, and you can negate. Or you can make sure that your trap and spell cards are not, being destroyed or negated. So that's pretty good, depending on how many Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girls you have in. And this card is so much more useful in this deck than it is in a deck like mine, because you have 5, or you have 1, 2, you have 5 total instead of just the 3 Dark Magicians that are on my deck, because I don't play Dark Magician Girl. So that's pretty good. Dark Magic Inheritance, pretty much always able to use this card, mostly because he uses more spell heavy Dark Magician deck than I think I do in terms of ratio spell to traps. I use a little bit more traps, so that's a good card to run in the deck. Definitely a good search card if you have already played your Magician's Rod. Dark Burning Magic. So this card no one really expects you to play, and I used to play it, and I could say that if I win a game, if I get this card out, I've pretty much won the game. So it's very, very good. It's very, very tough to get out unless you Magician's Navigation into it with the Dark Magician Girl, but it is a lot of fun, and I recommend you guys try it. And believe it or not, this deck is a good deck. It works with 2 Dark Magician Girls, and it definitely helps. Sage's Stone, if you already have a Dark Magician Girl to get a Dark Magician, it's pretty self-explanatory. Allure of Darkness, we got a lot of dark targets, so it just helps you draw just a little bit of draw power there. Monster Reborn, for very obvious reasons, you're going to want to reborn creatures that aren't necessarily Dark Magicians with Eternal Souls, so you're going to want to run 1 Monster Reborn. Obviously, you're not going to run any more because it's limited. 3 Eternal Souls, because it protects your Dark Magicians and is very good with Dark Magician the Dragonite, not to mention can get you a Dark Magic Attack. And 3 Magician's Navigations, so you can set up plays, XYZ plays, which is very important in this deck, or you could set up for Dark Burning Magic. And 1 Solemn Strike just to negate some stuff. Like I said, this deck has very, very good synergy. It did way better than I thought it was going to when I started to originally play it. Now we're going to go into the extra deck. We got Ebon Illusion Magician, lets you summon Dark Magicians, and does good banishing. Ebon High Magician. So I actually ended up using Ebon High Magician a lot because of his effect using Magician's Navigation when somebody went to destroy one of my back row, getting Magician's Navigation in the graveyard on my opponent's turn, so I can go ahead and negate on my turn, but also making sure he can't destroy my back row. In this deck, I typically use him more than I do in my own, but I still play him in my own deck, but I end up using him a lot more in this one. Number 11, Big Eye, because you want to take control of some people. Naruto the Moral Leader, more often than not, I still use him to set up Ebon Illusion, but in the way this deck plays, you're gonna end up a lot of times setting up for this guy, XYZ Simon the Great Moral Leader, which can get a lot of negate off a lot of the creatures, especially like spirals and things like that. You're going to want to negate their effects, especially their search effects, so it's pretty good to have him out on the field. He straight up negates, which is just better. Number 101, Silent Honor Arc, is pretty easy to get out with 2 level 4 monsters, and it allows you to take some of your opponent's monsters. Basically a pseudo version of number 11, Big Eye. And you get it as an XYZ material, so it's very good. But you have to meet specific conditions, but with Summoner Monk in early game, it's not that hard to do. Gaga Cowboy. So he likes to run the Gaga guys in this deck, and this is very, very good if you're kind of low on some attack points early game. And I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy playing them. I've only used them like once or twice, so I'm not really familiar with the exact reason Leo uses them a lot, but I still think he's a lot of fun to play. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, you want to pair with Eternal Souls and protects your back row. Dark Paladin for that early game Eye of Timaeus, so you can negate spells, especially if you got a full hand. Amulet Dragon, so you can banish spells from the graveyard, and so you can get a Dark Magician back when it dies. Dark Magician, the Dragon Girl, wow, I cannot say that today. Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Basically, for destroying your opponent's monsters, it's a quick effect, and it works really well. Decode Talker, which I'm pretty sure he just has in here as a space filler. I've used Decode Talker, but I think you're going to go into the other links more often, which are Binal Sorceress, which is effects when a monster co-linked to this card battles your opponent's monster and inflicts battle damage to them, you can gain that much life points, so you get you some life points back, which in this deck, I mean, you lose pretty quick if you're not having a quick game. And it's a quick effect. Once per turn, you could target 2 face-up monsters you control until the end of turn, half the attack of one monster, and if you do, add that lost attack to another monster. So it's basically a good, it's something that I never even thought to play, and I have to give props to Leo on this one, that it really, really, really helped me in places I thought. I might actually start running my main deck, because when you're out of Apprentice Illusion Magician and you need just a little attack point buff, she definitely comes in handy. And lastly, we have Tri-Gate Wizard. If a monster is co-linked to this card, battles your opponent's monster, any battle damage inflicts your opponent is doubled, which is very, very good for that ending attack. Once per turn, you can target one card on the field, banish it. Pretty self-explanatory on that one. It's more banish effect. And once per turn, when a card effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, banish that card. So the Tri-Gate Wizard, I didn't realize kind of boosts this deck at its strengths, banishing and stuff like that. And I'm not going to lie, when I first started playing the deck, I never played him. Now that I've gotten really used to the deck, I've been playing him a lot more, and he's very, very good. I'd recommend throwing him in a Dark Magician deck. He's one of those that people don't really think about that often, but he's very good. And I don't have any of the sideboard. Leo sent me a sideboard, but these are the ones I wanted to kind of show off and you know, kind of critique the deck a little bit. And I have to say, again, that I had so much fun playing this deck, even compared to my own Dark Magician deck, which has gotten kind of, you know, competitive, super competitive, and it's either I get good cards and I know what I'm going to do, or I don't get good cards. This deck lets you handle a variety of situations that I didn't even know Dark Magicians could handle. Typically, like with Gaga Magician, you know, getting out some of the XYZs that I didn't think I'd be able to get out with a normal summon. In one of those instances where I was stuck, I actually used him and Dark Magician Girl a lot to get out Naruto, to get out Ebon, to get out Dark Magician, to get that banished. Like, I've done that a couple times. It was really nice. Elemental Healer Prisma was pretty good addition to the deck. I just think the deck, I don't think the deck would, you know, win super high-end tournaments. However, this is one of the best synergized decks that I've ever seen when it comes to consistency, especially using cards like Dark Magician Girl and stuff like that. It is so good. So for competitive, I would rate the deck probably about like a 6.5 out of 10, but for fun, 10 out of 10 easy. The deck is a lot of fun, and I recommend you guys try it. And again, shout out to Leo London. Thank you so much for letting me do a deck profile on your deck. You guys have a wonderful day, and if you guys want me to do a deck profile on your deck, please let me know. It takes me a while to get them out because I'm busy doing a lot of other stuff always. It takes me a while to get videos out at this point, but don't think I won't consider it. And you guys have a wonderful day. And please like and subscribe and check out my other videos. I just did a video where Cameron and I went on Reddit and had ourselves some fun. So check out that video. It'd be a lot of fun. And I absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, especially all of you that have been with me since the beginning, like Leo London. You guys have a wonderful day. Topher Crost out.